What's the fastest way you've seen someone improve their life? Worked with a guy at AutoZone that had 2 sets of kids and 2 sets of child support payments. He worked 40 hours with us and then 30 to 40 at a grocery store just killing himself to survive. Turns out that he was like 9 hours away from a degree he had begun a decade earlier, and he just randomly mentioned it to a coworker while they were stocking things. The managers at both stores knew his situation and worked his schedule together to get him the hours he needed. They started a tuition fund that anyone could donate to and both sat him down to say he needed to finish his school. The school put together a prereq class for him, which he made an A in, and off he went one class at a time. 1 year later he walked the stage with a marketing degree and turned his whole life around at 41 or 42. I had a friend that had an addictive personality. He was incredibly smart, but liked to party too much. During junior year of high school he got in a car accident, broke some bones, and got addicted to the pills he was prescribed. He spiraled downwards after that, and barely made it out of high school. Most people lost contact with him, and thought he would just be another lowlife. A few years after high school one of our mutual friends committed suicide and he took it very harshly, but it was enough to change his attitude. He took up an interest in investments and decided to move away from his burnout friends to attend a college. He graduated in less than 4 years and ended up working for a reputable bank earning 6 figures, and now he's always posting his luxurious vacations on Facebook. It was a crazy turnaround for him. My coworker dropped out of high school and basically just became a druggie until he was about 21, working odd jobs and occasionally being homeless. After that he decided to take a brief web development course. I think it was an intense 9-month course or something. Basically a full-time job, and now he works in web development with me. He'll sometimes mention how he thinks my 4-year degree is impressive, how he regrets wasting all his time, etc. But I think it's pretty impressive to go from where he was to being in the same career as me. I'm a boot camp grad who ended up being one of the hiring decision makers before being laid off last week. I interviewed someone who was also a boot camp grad, but he didn't fully understand a lot of core concepts. Like he could code, but he didn't always understand the ecosystem. So when we asked him if he had ever used library or Telex, he said no. But then he scribbled the name down on his notepad to look up later. I pointed it out during our post-interview debrief, and we all decided that someone who does that is someone who can learn. He was one of my proudest hires, because as I helped mentor him, he started killing it. A guy I know constantly looked so tired and napped all the time during the day. He would nap so hard that you would have to shake him to wake him up, and he could fall asleep anywhere super fast. I asked him about it, and he told me he felt tired all the time because he couldn't sleep at night. He figured he just had insomnia or something, but refused to go to a doctor about it. One day he had a legit mental breakdown after a few drinks. We basically had to babysit him all night, and I'm convinced it was because of his constantly exhausted state. Not long after that incident he went to the doctor about his sleep, and it turns out he had been living with severe sleep apnea for years. The doctor told him he was basically on the verge of a heart attack or stroke because of it. Now he sleeps with a special mask at night, and he has completely changed for the better. He visibly has way more energy and his performance in school went through the roof. Edit. I have got tons of comments from this post saying it inspired people to go have an appointment with a doctor, to which I say good. I can't stress enough how much getting treatment helped my friend. It's fortunate such a debilitating condition has such an effective and immediate treatment available for it, so by all means, go check it out. Take care. About 10 years ago, a guy walked into my credit union, sat down at my desk and said, "I need help." He sure did. Dude had thousands and thousands of dollars in high interest, unsecured debt. This debt was costing him over $1,000 a month in payments. He and I got to work. We consolidated, we refinanced, and we had a fun little credit card execution ceremony. All said and done, we saved him about $500 a month in payments. We put together a plan to use half the savings to continue putting toward the debt for a snowball effect, and to save the other half in an account I would lock up for him. Fast forward to a couple of weeks ago, I saw him at a community event. He told me he is completely debt free, including his house, and has savings for his children to go to college. We hugged and chatted. He never did give me a secret gold coin or grant me 3 wishes, but I was beaming like a mofo, so that's good. He stopped playing League of Legends. No, seriously. A friend of mine used to spend basically all of his free time in LOL. If he wasn't sleeping, eating, or in class, he was in a game. And the weird part was that he didn't actually seem to enjoy playing either, like it was compulsive or something. No matter if he won or lost, he'd be crabby about it. Even in the rare instance where he wasn't playing a game and got invited to a social event, his sleep schedule was so messed up he usually wouldn't make it anyway. He finally decided to try giving it up for Lent, and just never went back once he realized how much of a negative effect it had been having on him. He started eating better, because he wasn't just going for whatever microwave crap he could eat while playing, exercising, because now he had time and energy to do so, taking care of his appearance better, because why would he have shaved, showered regularly, and done laundry when he was just sitting in his room all day? Sleeping a normal amount, and actually connecting with people beyond just seeing them in class. The transformation was honestly impressive. He went from one of the most stereotypical depressed neckbeard freshmen I've ever met to a happy healthy college kid in the span of a couple months. Just uninstalled, thanks. I used to give the technical interviews and review resumes of potential devs at my last job. I didn't give a damn about a degree, even though I had one. If they have a passion, a proven history of skill or even advancement of skill, and the ability to learn quickly, they would get hired. Hell, I even hired a girl that had never done web development outside some WordPress stuff, and had a 2-year degree in like art history. When I showed her the basics of setting up a task run like Grunt, she got super excited. She sent me a message on LinkedIn that night after the interview of a project she got it running in. I was so impressed by her initiative and passion that I picked her over a few others way more educated and skilled. I have since left that job, but she was the first person from our branch besides me to get a promotion to senior lead. Some people just have it. Woke up on May 15th flat broke, unemployed, living in a weekly apartment I was about to lose. Today I have a full-time job with insurance as of 12/1, and I'm typing this on a computer in my break room. And when I get paid Friday, I'll have money left over from my check 2 weeks ago. Amazing how quickly your life gets better once you stop putting your entire check up your nose. Managed an apartment community where one insanely obese man splintered the bottom of his shower from simply standing on it. We replaced it at no charge, but the embarrassment got to him. Within a week he found a dietitian and started walking around the community. Within a few months he bought a bike and started riding around the neighborhood. Within a year he dropped what's to be at least 100 lbs. Within 2 years he weighed less than I do now. Cassie, if you happen to see this, and I know you're a Redditor, you're a freaking inspiration. Keep at it. My dad had a moment of clarity that he was prioritizing drinking over his children and spending too much of his army salary on beer and not enough on his 4 children. That was 1993. He quit cold turkey and doesn't think it was that big a deal that he's now gone 24 years sober. I don't remember much about him as a drunk, but I know he was a terrific and loving dad my entire life, and I'm glad my family was able to flourish in part because he refused. I'm also glad he's alive today, because who knows how long he'd have lasted had he not gotten out of it when he did. My stepsister dropped out of high school and was going down the drug addiction path that is incredibly common where I live. She got knocked up by a guy and decided to keep the kid. Once she was pregnant she cleaned up her act and really turned things around. Now she is getting her JED and is married to the father of her child and is working towards a college education. Thank you for watching Internet's Funniest. Please like, share, and subscribe.